Hello, Esther. How are you? Hello, Yishuan. Hello, Zach. All right, can you guys hear me now? All right, so once again, hello Ishan, hello Zach, hello Chloe, hello Ryan, hello Kohan. Hi Esther, I'm doing fine, thank you. Hello Sean. Ryan, why are you feeling bad today? And Ryan, who is not here in class? I see 6 people are watching right now, so that's the 6 of you. Zach, Chloe, Ryan, Kohan, Esther, Sean. Can you guys hear me now? You should be able to hear me. Let me know if you can hear me now. Who's not here? Does Omar not take? Zach is here. Omar and Adam, do they not take sociology? Business studies. Okay, once you're done reviewing this table that you see on the screen, just type in the comments there, yes, comma, I am done reviewing this summary. So just type, yes, I am done reviewing this summary. Once I get all 6 responses from you that you are done reviewing this summary that you see on the screen right now, which can also be found in your textbooks on page 45. Once you see them, once you are done reviewing this summary, and more importantly, you understand the contents of this summary, please type in the comments. Oh, Jasmine's not here. Yeah, where's Jasmine? Can someone who has a spare phone call Jasmine then and remind her that business studies is going on right now? Once you have reviewed and understand the summary that you see on the screen. Yes, like Zach. Okay, good. Hello, Ray. Ray, where is your sister? We're trying to look for your sister. Ishuan doesn't take business studies. She only takes econs, I believe. Yeah. Ray, please let me know where is your sister. Zach, does it matter? I told him to join. All right, so you can calm down and you can focus on your review. All right, Zach, since you are done reviewing, Zach, here's a question for you then. Zach, you gotta answer me this, yeah? Give me one reason why it's better to have a partnership than to be a sole trader. Let me repeat. Zach, in the comments, tell me or give me one reason why it's better to have a partnership than to be a sole trader. Chloe, next question is, give me one reason why being a sole trader is better than a partnership. Okay, I want those answers in the comments ASAP. You've got 1 minute from the time you hear this. Okay, Jasmine is here. Hi, and Jasmine, care to explain why you are late for today's class? Haha, very funny, Esther, with the comma. So again, Zach, you have to tell me one reason why a partnership is better than a sole trader. And Chloe, you got to give me one reason why the sole trader is better than the partnership. Okay, or one advantage. Okay. Okay, good question there. While Zach and Chloe are formulating their answers. So going back to what Kohan asked just now. Okay, so what does this mean, right? Look at shareholders up to their original investment. That's one of the risks for public and private limited companies. Okay, so in short, what you're putting to risk is how much money the shareholders have invested into the company. Okay, let's say I'm a sole trader. Okay, I put in ringgit 1 million into my business, but I've got another ringgit 1 million at home, right? Again, 1 million ringgit in the business, another ringgit 1 million in the bank, at home, wherever, somewhere else. Okay, but let's say my business then owes 2 million ringgit. Well, guess what? Then the people whom I owe money to, the banks, my financiers, anyone, they can come after not just the money that I plowed into the business, not just my assets in the business, but also my personal asset as well. That is for a sole trader. But for private and public limited companies, why? Because they have limited liabilities. The creditors or banks, financiers, whoever, right? The people you owe money to, or the company owes money to, all right? They can only take whatever you have invested in the company. That's it. Okay? They cannot come into your personal life, your personal assets, and take those away from you. So what is at risk for private and public limited companies? All right, what is at risk is what the shareholders have put into these companies, okay, up to their original investment. That's it. Okay, I hope you understand that now. Okay. Okay, Kwon, I hope you understand that. Let me know if you understand in the comments. All right, Chloe, being a sole trader, you can keep all the income made, aka incentives. All right, good. Well done, Chloe. The better answer will be keep all the profit, okay? Because you can't keep all the income, because income is another word for revenue, for example, right? Or, well, I mean, net income can be net profit as well, but the better word for your level is keep all the profits, right? Because if the money comes in, you might have to spend some on rent, on your employees' wages, on electricity, water bills, raw materials, etc., etc. So you may not get to keep all the income per se, but you can keep all the profits as a sole trader. Okay, but good job. Zach, partnership, more capital can be, okay, well done. All right, good job, good answer there. Partnership, more capital base, well done. Okay, good job. All right, so we are coming back to this. So here's what we're going to look at today. So I know last week we looked at the franchise. So the review, okay, the table that I showed you just now covers the first part of chapter 4. Okay, the goal is to finish the rest of chapter 4 today. Okay, that's types of business organizations, as you can see right down there in the orange bar below the screen. We finished that today, and then next week we can go over chapter 5, and hopefully you'll be back in school by Wednesday, April 14th. Unlikely, I doubt it, but we'll see. Okay. Yeah, but you know, when you actually do come back to school for real, then we can just pick up from section 2. Okay, methods of or people in business. Yeah, very easy chapter. Please read in advance. Okay, before school resumes. Okay, before your physical classes resume. Okay, so here's what we're gonna look at today. So again, we have done franchising at the top. See, I'm getting really good at this. I know how to flex already. Franchising, we did that last week. Okay, today we're going to look at joint ventures, public corporations, and if you've got time, we look at social enterprise. Now, social enterprise is not in your new textbooks, all right? But I think it's still good to learn because it is in the old textbook. So if you guys have this, you will find the section on social enterprise in on page 54, I believe. Yeah, page 54. Okay. Yeah, but if you've got time, we'll get to it. Okay. So for now, let's go on to joint ventures. Okay, so we've done this review. Okay, I know this is a bit ambitious. I put a lot of stuff onto the screen. Let me know if you guys can read it. Okay, we'll try this. All right, so page 47 on it in the textbooks. Okay, so what is a joint venture? A joint venture is where two or more businesses start a new project together. So they share capital, they share risks, and they share the profits. Now, the difference between a joint venture and a partnership is the ownership structure. Okay, so basically, I think the definition looks quite similar to the definition of a partnership, right? The big difference is it's more of an extension of each of these companies, and it doesn't really belong to the company themselves. Okay, a case study would be, today I was pulling up, if I can, how do I do this? Let me see. Amsterdam, Netherlands, global retailer. What are they called? Food Lion, Indo Food. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. I was just looking at this today. I had to research this company. Why is my Google taking so long? These guys. Okay, so this is one of the biggest retailers or grocery store, convenience store, more grocery stores operator in Europe. Okay, they are based out of the Netherlands. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Don't ask me how it's pronounced, but they're huge. Okay. They've got over like 6,700 stores in Europe and the US. So they mainly focus on Europe. So these are some of the brands. I don't think you guys recognize them, but you can see how this lion, right, is quite popular in some of their brands. It's used over and over again, right? And see, the same lion is used for the US store. I know of Food Lion because the apartment that I lived in the States was close to one. All right, now look at this, joint ventures. Now they got two right here. So this is one that they have in Indonesia. Okay, so this company is actually based in the Netherlands. They've got their own stores all across Europe, Belgium, Holland, etc., Southern Europe. They got stores all over the US, mainly on the east coast of the US. But see, notice this, they've got joint ventures as well. Okay, let's click on this and let's see what we can learn. Okay, right, see, Super Indo is a joint venture established in 1997. They got 177 stores. I don't know if I've seen those in my time in Indonesia. I mean, I only go there once in a while, but I just look for the convenience stores anyways. I don't really go grocery shopping. I'm trying to scroll down, but come on. I think my Chrome is being overloaded because I got so many things going on. The video chat and don't hang. Oh, please don't hang. Oh, great. Dang it. Hope it doesn't hang. Okay, anyways, while I try to pull it back up. Okay, so joint ventures, okay, is where it's not so much that the company owns it itself. It's more a case of all these different companies come together and they have limited liability, which is important usually. And then they start up a new project, okay? As opposed to like a partnership like, you know, everyone, all the partners own a piece of it, okay? Whereas a joint venture, yeah, they also own a piece of a project, but it's more like something that's external, okay? So it's not considered part of the company. So that's why you saw on their website just now, it listed all their US brands, all the European brands, and then joint ventures. Why? Because they want to recognize that, you know, these brands, including Super Indo, it does not belong directly to the company. Ahold Delhaize, I don't know how it's pronounced, okay, but it's a joint venture, so separate, okay. So okay, now it's stopped hanging. Maybe it's the website. Oh, okay, let's see if this comes up now. So Super Indo, Indonesia's largest supermarket chain, okay, Line Express, right? Oh, nice, okay. So the supermarkets, 171 stores, okay. Yeah, partnership between Delhaize and Salim Group. Now, Salim Group is quite a huge company and conglomerate, I believe, in Indonesia. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Stores around here. Okay, so just to give you an idea of what a joint venture is versus you know, something that's directly owned by the company. Okay. So coming back to this, joint venture, two or more businesses agreed to start a new project. It's a project, okay? And then they share the capital, share the risk, share the profits. Many European companies set up joint ventures in China. And then the example we saw was an European company setting up a joint venture in Indonesia, okay? And the local managers will have good knowledge of the market and the consumer taste. So I'll give you another example. So when I worked for Bloomberg TV Malaysia, now sorry, wrong one. When I worked for Bloomberg TV Malaysia, I'm not sure about the business model. It could have been a joint venture or a franchise, or maybe a bit of both. I wasn't quite sure, but I know that there was this joint venture element to it as well. Okay, so that's an example. So Bloomberg TV Malaysia was not directly under Bloomberg, which is the multinational global company out of the US, right? They owned businesses in Hong Kong, Singapore, right, all over the world, but this TV station was a joint venture between a local multi-millionaire, maybe a billionaire, I'm not sure, and Bloomberg, right? So the idea is that, okay, you can then use some of Bloomberg's assets, but then because you know the local market so well, you can tailor the news to your local audience, right, while using the Bloomberg name. So it's maybe a bit of franchising, maybe a bit of joint venture, okay, but these are examples of how there can be some advantages to joint ventures, okay. So in the Dutch company that I showed you earlier, right, with Super Indo, right, we saw how this company is taking advantage of Salim Group's knowledge of the local market. Okay. Yeah, wherever your stated is now. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the idea. Hope you guys understand this right now. So we're gonna continue. Why is this thing so blurry now? Maybe I'm moving way too fast for these guys. Let's try this again. Anyways, sorry for the technical glitches. Okay. I don't know why it's so blurred. Sorry guys. Let me hang up and stop sharing. Sorry, just bear with me. Those of you who have the textbooks, look at joint ventures, page 47, okay? Application window. Let's share this. Okay, is this better now? No, sorry. Dang it, what's going on? Okay, you know what? We'll just stick to this then. I hope that's better. No. Did I just get kicked out? Sorry guys, just bear with me. I'm having some technical issues here. Welcome to Sorry, just give me a second. I got to reset everything now. Okay, I got some questions here. I'll try to answer them in a bit. Give me a second, yeah. Sean. Okay, close this, close this. All right, okay, I'm back. Okay, whew. I think. Okay, yep, we are back in business. I think. There we go. Okay, so the questions were. Sorry about that. Question is, Sinru asks, teacher, the new edition Business Studies 1. I'm not sure what your question is. Oh, okay. So Sinru, I think what you're getting at is for level 2, they're using this new, they're using the Hodder book. Okay, so level 2 is using the Hodder book. Where else for level 3, you guys are the last batch to be using this Hodder book. Okay, the older one. This is the new for 2013. But then this one is the 5th edition, which was published in 2018. Okay, so this is the 2018 version. Okay, because obviously some of your classmates in level 3 started with us in 2017, 2018, so they're still using the previous book. Okay, I guess that's what you're asking, Sindru. Not sure. Okay. So Esther is asking, the term company is only used for private sector and corporates are used for the public sector? No. Okay, no, Esther, I wouldn't get too hung up on that terminology. They are basically interchangeable. Okay, at least for our level, it's the same thing. Okay, you can call them public sector companies as well. That's fine. private sector companies, that's fine as well. Okay, Sean is like, I don't understand what you mean by the company owns the joint venture externally. So what some joint ventures do is like, so they might set up a separate company. Okay, so it's not within the original company. They might have say you got 5 different companies, right? They want to set up a new supermarket chain. So then 5 people, these 5 companies might set up a new company in the country that they want to set up the supermarket chain in, and then it's kind of held there. Okay, so it's quite I can understand how it's quite similar to a partnership, but it's different. Okay, so hold that thought. Let's just finish this first. Okay, so hopefully this will help you understand better. Okay, so again, 2 businesses agreed to start up a new project. We've said that. Local managers will have good knowledge of the market needs and consumer taste. Now, advantages. So you can share the costs. You got local knowledge with your local partners, your local JV or joint venture partner. And of course, the risks are shared as well. Okay, disadvantages, well, then the profits have to be shared. Disagreements between the JV partners, and the JV partners might have different ways of running a business, different cultures. Okay, so they're quite similar, but the difference is more in the ownership structure. Okay, partnership is partnership, joint venture is joint venture. Okay, I hope you guys understand that now. Hope we can move on. Man, it's 2:30 already. Okay, so sorry, I'm a bit flustered now because of my technical glitches. I still don't know what happened, but let's move on. Okay, so let's go on to public corporation. Okay, so now this public corporation, okay, is a business in the public sector. When you're saying it's a public sector, it's owned and controlled by the state. Okay, now yes, Esther, I know it can be quite confusing because out there in the real world, if you say it's a public company, people tend to think about a public listed or public limited liability. Limited company. Okay, I get that. But then a public corporation is a public corporation. But very often people use those terms interchangeably as well. Okay, so don't you worry about that. Okay, but just know this, that if you're writing specifically about a business that is owned and controlled by the state or the government, then it's a public corporation. Okay, so use that term. Okay, very easy stuff. Now, there are some advantages and disadvantages of public corporations, and for those of you in level 3, Sinru and Ray, you guys addressed this question in, I think, your business studies papers, right? For those of you in level 3, but for those of you in level 2, okay, there are some advantages there. So let me just go through these real quick. Okay, it's on page 48 of your textbook. So one of them is, if let's say it's a very important business, okay, that delivers essential services to the people, okay, like for example water supply or electricity supply, right? Then the government can control it, and then in times of crisis like such as this, they can have a say in lowering the price or making sure there's adequate supply to the people, okay, water and electricity supply, as opposed to, let's say, the company providing water and electricity is a privately owned company, right? So in times of crisis, when the government says, hey, we need you to provide free water for the people, or provide electricity to this other part of the country, the private sector will be profit driven. So they have the ability to say, well, no, we are private. The private sector is not controlled by the government. You cannot really tell us like to do this for free or to do that, right? Just because you're the government. I mean, they can, but it's not so direct. As opposed to if the government directly owns these companies, right? They can provide these essential services like water and electricity to the people. Okay, they can control and run the company the way they want to. They being the government. Okay, so this is public sector, public corporation. This is private sector. Okay, so that's one of the advantages of the people, right? If we absolutely need it, good times, bad times, water, electricity, all that stuff, right? At least we know the government will take care of us. If the companies that provide those services are actually owned by the government, okay? So that's one advantage. Now, if it's a monopoly, let's say only that one public company, public corporation can only deliver the water or electricity or deliver those essential services, right? They may not be wasteful, so because they don't have to compete. If it's a monopoly means there's one major provider, like they control most of the market, so they can set the prices, and they are the ones who deliver that good or service. Okay, so it can be an advantage if that public corporation is a monopoly, just like Tenaga is here in Malaysia for electricity. We all get our electricity from Tenaga, right? It's a monopoly. So during an economic crisis like this, Tenaga has then, the government told Tenaga, hey, you give people discounts on their electricity bill, right? And they had to follow because the government said so, right? Private sector, the government can say, hey, private sector, private electric company, you guys lower your electricity bills, give people discounts. They can say no, right? They can say no, forget it, right? We're the private sector, we still need to make money, okay? So that's how the public corporation works. Those are some advantages. And then if, let's say, like this public corporation is failing, right, and they hire like 50,000 people, well, because it's owned by the government can then pump money in to help it stay alive, okay, and keep all those jobs, make sure people still have jobs. So those are some advantages of public corporations, okay. Now, there are obviously disadvantages as well. So on the private sector, generally, just know this, okay, and you can write this down in your notes. The private sector is more efficient, okay? When there's more competition, when they have more investments, right? They can be more competitive, they can be more efficient. What does efficient mean? Efficient means they maximize the use of their resources, okay? They prevent a lot of wastage, okay? That's the efficiency of the private sector. Okay, so the disadvantage of the public corporation generally, and you see this all over the world, they tend to be quite wasteful. Okay, oh, we just hire people and just keep them there. They're not really doing a lot of work. It's okay. Why? Because the government wants to make sure that these people get jobs, and so they can spend in the economy. Okay, where else the private sector, if you're not helping the company be efficient, all right, or use the resources wisely, then you may not need the person anymore. Bye-bye, right? And the same thing when they buy with machines, or when they deal with machines or assets or buy real estate. Because it's profit motivated, they have to make sure that they are very efficient with their decision makings, okay? So the disadvantage of public corporations is that they tend to be quite wasteful, or at least not as efficient as the private sector, okay? All right. So yeah, so if you look at all those on page 48, it's about public corporations having the lack of efficiency, lack of competition, so they're quite slow and laborious, okay? Then the last point there is that then governments can use these public corporations, because the government owns and operates these public corporations. The government can then use them for political purposes. All right. Oh, we give you this contract, right, from this public corporation. We give you this contract if you support the government, or if you're friends with the government, right? So you see that happening all over the world. It's not a good thing, lah. Okay. All right. So Ryan, great question there. Okay. So can the government punish private sector if they didn't want to reduce the prices? Theoretically, no, but in real life, yes. Okay, how? Because the government can then set policies like raise or lower tax rates, or say that, hey, you must lower your prices all across the board. So I'll give you an example. Here in Malaysia, when the new government, or now old government, but when we had a change in government in 2018, the new minister then came in and told all the telco providers, right, Maxis, DG, all those guys, all of you, right, drop your prices. All of them had to. You know why? Because as a private company, you don't want to be in the bad books of the government. You don't want to make them angry. If they tell you to do something, I mean, within reason, of course, then you do it, right? Is it right for the government to have asked that? Depends, right? Is it right from a business perspective? No, because we study in business and economics. Businesses, as economic agents, they should set the prices based on supply and demand, right? Remember the supply curve and the demand curve, right? But then it was certainly a good thing for the government to tell the private sector to lower their prices, right, for your phone calls and for your data especially, right, so that the people can enjoy it easily, right? So it's a good thing for the people, for consumers, but it was a bad thing for the business. But to answer your question, yes, the governments can punish the private sector if they don't do what the government tells them. Okay, so Kohan, Zach, so in the real world, yes, but theoretically, they're not supposed to. At least ideally, the government is not supposed to do that. Public is public, private is private. Okay, private will react to market forces of supply and demand. Okay, government will have different objectives in mind. Political objectives, want to make people vote for them more, create more jobs, keep the economy afloat, whatever. Okay, but great question though, Ryan. Very good. Let me see. Who's rude? Okay, yeah. No need for the burns in the comment sections. Yeah, okay, Ryan, so good example. So right now, the government actually said there's a ceiling price on the masks. I think it's like 2 ringgit, I can't remember. You can Google this right now. Google ceiling, like, you know, ceiling price for face masks in Malaysia. So the government said, okay, look, this is necessary. I know the private sectors are bringing all of this in from the different suppliers, but if you want to sell it to Malaysians, you want to sell it in Malaysia, you cannot sell it higher than this price. It's a ceiling price, okay? And then if you break the ceiling price, you will be you being the company, if you charge higher than the ceiling price, you will be made to pay a fine, and there could be other penalties as well. Okay. So yeah, good example. 1 ringgit 50 cent. Yeah, there we go. That's the ceiling price. Okay, but very good. So that's a public corporation. So there's advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so again, advantages, disadvantages are on page 48 of the latest harder textbook. Okay, tell you what, that's pretty much it for chapter 4. Social enterprise. Tell you what, I'll just go through it really quickly. Social enterprise is just this. Okay, so it's a private sector company, okay, on that side. But the big difference is with the social enterprise is they are not profit motivated, or at least that's not their main aim. Okay, so social enterprises, their goal is to take care of their members. Okay, so I'll give you an example. A former colleague of mine, she set up a social enterprise, and the company, it was a real company. The company, they just made like tea bags, right? So they would import the tea from, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from India or Sri Lanka or somewhere on that part of Asia, import the tea leaves, and she would just hire all these young men or women who had learning difficulties, who can't get normal jobs, right, or cannot be integrated into the mainstream jobs, but they have finished college or finished high school already. So they were stuck, right? They cannot go back to school because they can't go on to college, nor can they go on and get most of your regular jobs, right? So she created this social enterprise and created these jobs. So these individuals would just pack the tea bags, that's it, right? So they would just take the dry tea leaves, put it into a bag, weigh it, and then they sell. And whatever they sold, right, all the money was used to just pay the wages of these individuals, these workers who had learning difficulties. Was it a profitable business? No. Okay, but whatever profit that they had was to take care of the members. So that's an example of a social enterprise. It's a type of business organization. Okay, not private sector. Why? Because the main feature of the private sector is mainly profit driven, right? not a part of the public sector, because it's public sector is controlled and operated by the government, right? So he has a social enterprise, not private, not fully private, or not fully profit driven, not owned by the government, but they're going about with some social objectives. Okay, so that's an example of social enterprise, which is right here at the bottom here. Okay, yeah, right here, down there. Okay. All right, so that wraps it up for, yeah, just nice, 40 minutes. That wraps up chapter 4. If you've got any questions, leave it for me. Ryan, what's with the question marks? I'm not sure. If your question mark is in reference to the ceiling price, then again, you can just Google to find out the real ceiling price for the face masks, okay? All right, any other questions for me? If not, next week we'll start off with chapter 5. So we will still have this online session on YouTube on Friday, right? Sorry, on Friday. Today is Tuesday. Sorry, next Tuesday, right? Even if the MCO is lifted, it'll be lifted on Wednesday, April 14th, and you'll be back here. We have to wait for the announcement, potentially this Friday, whether or not it'll be extended or it'll be kept in place. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Next week, next Tuesday, chapter 5. Hopefully we can finish chapter 5 within this MCO period. And then when we come back to school, we'll pick it up from unit 2 or section 2, or maybe section 3, we'll see. But 2 and 3 are like really easy though. Yeah, okay, all right. So if you've got no questions, just leave a message in the comments. Say, I understood everything. Thank you very much, Mr. Han. Goodbye. And then you can go. Otherwise, you can hang around. All right. Okay. 12 people watching. I wonder who are the 12. Okay. So thank you, Ryan. Did you understand everything, though? Put in the comments. I understood everything. Thank you very much, Mr. Han. Goodbye. Okay, those are the exact words you got to put in your comments. Kuohan, likewise, did you understand today's lesson? Let me know. Okay, Zach, did you understand today's lesson? Sinru, you understood? Thank you. Okay, goodbye. Well done, Sinru. Anyone else? I'll leave it on for another 90 seconds, or rather 80 seconds now. Esther, inappropriate, but okay, unless if the link tie was aimed at someone else. But yeah, but do you understand? Did you understand today's lesson? Esther, Zach, Kohan, and Ryan. Before you guys say bye, do you guys understand? Okay. Sean, I hope I answered your question earlier as well. Thank you, Ray. Well done. Goodbye. Sean, well, that is entirely up to the government, right? As far as we know, we have not heard of any reports of any of our students, staff, or their families being infected with the coronavirus, right? But this is why it's important that all of you adhere to the rules and regulations and the laws stipulated during this MCO period, right? We will wait for the government's direction on whether or not we resume school or we resume classes after the MCO is lifted. Okay. Chloe has a question on top. What was your question, Chloe? Sorry, I missed it. Do they control? Oh, okay. So will social enterprises, great question, Chloe. So Chloe asked, so will social enterprises get controlled by the government for some social enterprise? There can be, but generally they won't, okay, to answer your question, they won't get controlled by the government. It just depends, right? If the government starts it, then it's the government own social enterprise, right? If it's not owned, then it's not owned, right? It's just a social enterprise, right? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't get so into the weeds there. So the social enterprise, they can control themselves, yes. Can the government control them? Yes. It just depends on who owns them, right? Okay. All right, but good question. All right. No, Sean, that is not what the answer. Sean, that is not the answer I'm looking for. making sure that you understood today's lesson as well. Okay, let me know if you understood today's lesson. Chloe, I hope that answer suffices. Ryan, you got to answer me in full sentences. Yes, what? I don't know what you're saying yes to. Okay, I'll leave it on for another 30 seconds, then I gotta go. Okay, thank you, Chloe, for that confirmation. That was not a sponsored act, by the way. I'm just thirsty. Okay, thank you, Chloe. Bye. Okay, I'm going to go in 3, 2, 1.